Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our second and final live stream of today. We are on Train Symbol 2, Northern Transpennine in the Class 40 BLU. And we're going to do this passenger service from Leeds to Manchester, Victoria, calling at principal stations only. So we're going to get in here, get our train set up, and get underway. Hopefully everybody's having a good Tuesday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. There it is. Lights turned up. Let's make sure we get our headlights on. I think it's the head code light. Yeah, there we go. That's our headlights basically. Be ready to depart momentarily. Of course, we may have to wait because usually there's going to be somebody else coming into the station. Maybe not. Find out what happens when we get our time. There we go. All right, away we go. Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed that flight earlier today. It was a lot of fun getting to go through the the Eiffel Tower there. I really enjoyed that. Figured this is going to take about an hour to complete, so I figured we'd get in here and get this going. That. I know we have a couple of yeah, we're gonna go through a tunnel, so once we get closer to those, I'll come there for this switch. Should have turned on. Well, there we go. Have a little bit of that added into our fun for today. I was thinking about, because usually I like to have story time every once in a while. I try to plan or have an idea of what that story is going to be. But what I'm finding lately, I'm thinking a lot about my time in the military. I don't mean it in a negative way. Just, there's things that happen that kind of make you think about the situation, things that happen, and you're just kind of like, it kind of gives me that sense of deja vu. And there's a saying, and I think it's true no matter what, what organization you're in or where you're at in life. The saying is, remember one thing, they want you to do well, but never better than them. And I always think about that saying. Not always, I should say. I think about that saying a lot. That people, whether it's your boss or sometimes, heaven forbid, it's a parent or a friend, whatever. Of course they want you to do well, but it's like people are afraid of somebody doing better than them. And it reminds me of a time when it wasn't long after I got to Fort Stewart. You know, I was trying to get a feel for the organization. You know, what was my place in it? And it wasn't a very easy thing to figure out. And part of that may have been my own doing, but also my leadership did make it any easier. You know, trying to help me find that place where I fit in. And I remember a person senior to me. We were up at the company area, which basically is a bunch of, it's like office space, basically. Or, you know, you create an office space. Hey, good afternoon, folks. And this person was, I won't say that part's not very important. I asked how they were doing. You know, greeting of the day, courtesy, showing courtesy, senior folks. And this person said, well, really stressing out. Getting ready to run, you know, I've got to run a range here in the next week or so. And I've got a lot of things to plan. And, you know, I'm just overwhelmed because I'm worried I don't want to screw this up. So me being me, I said, you know, because I had experiences on ranges. And so, of course, my line of thinking was, well, I can offer my experience. This is a good opportunity to show my worth, yes, to the organization, my level of knowledge, and all that. And this person, I said, because I said, well, is there anything I can do to help out? And instead of saying, yeah, I just need somebody to go over this paperwork, or I need, if you could run over and drop this stuff off, or whatever. Yeah, it's story time. I'm good. Well, I'm not good. I'm okay. I mean, I had a good morning previously, but I'm just kind of ruminating about some things. But anyway, so he says to me, I just need you to keep an eye on your soldiers, son. That's all I need from you. I don't need, kind of like it was a very off-putting sort of thing. And I was taken back because, I thought for sure at least my effort to help was going to be received, I thought, at least somewhat well. You hope, because you're trying to figure out your place, and when somebody says, oh, well, I'm struggling here, it's very stressful, yada, yada, yada. And so I was like, okay, you got it, Sergeant. And, but I always think about that when I think about they want you to do well, but never than them. Never better than them. And I think it's because if I had gotten the opportunity to help that person, and I did a really good job at it, then it's like I'm stealing their spot. And some recent events have reminded me of that. People want, they always wish you well, but when you say, I'm ready to help, I want to help, what can I do to help? That's when I think, kind of in a weird way, that's when a different side of people comes out. and it's never something that you expect. It just happens, and you're just like, okay, what did I do so terrible that I am being treated like this? What's the why? And I think that's part of that whole they want you to do well, but only to as long as they approve of it. It's not even that they're worried about you doing better than them. In some ways, it's almost like they don't want you to do well at all unless they have some control over how well you do. If that makes sense. And it's kind of given me some things to think about. Because one of the things that I've always I try to believe in is try not to waste energy for things that don't deserve it. And I think I'm in a situation where I kind of feel like it's me being me. Am I wasting time in places where it doesn't deserve my time? And I kind of feel like I am, but like I said, it could be just me being me. Are you getting, it's possible, which I agree. I certainly look at that. The thing though is that in order for me to put on another game on here, I'm going to have to give up something else. I think we talked about this before. If I'm going to get another game or two, even depending on the size of these games, excuse me, that means give Tuesday. Because right now I'm pretty tight on space as it is with 3 games. I would like to get it. I think it would be a fun addition to my gaming experience. Put it on the stream and have some fun. Because I'm one of those people, for those of you who don't know, I'm always interested in learning different things, even if it's just in a game version of that thing. I haven't played FS19 for quite some time because I removed it to make space for Flight Simulator. I would like to say yes, for sure. I'm looking at getting a Nitrado server so I can have 16 people in the. Oh wow, 16. That's quite a lot. Yeah, I'd like to say yes with 100% certainty, but I can't commit to it just yet. But certainly it's something. When I did play a little bit of FS19, I did enjoy it, but space becomes an issue. The only other option I would be to expand my storage space on my Xbox Series S, and then not have to worry about it. So I'd like to, but it's very difficult to say. So yeah, but just some things that I was thinking about recently. It's been something on my mind over the past probably about a week or so about finding a place, and I think in any community where this is no slight against you and your desire to have 16 people, and it's coming to consoles for the new Farm Sim game, which is an absolute. Oh, okay. I didn't hear about that, but that's pretty awesome. So that you can have more people, you can get a larger farm, get more done. Anyway, what I notice is whenever there's a multiplayer aspect to a game, and that's something that I don't want to see happen. And I know people, people aren't going to want to hear this, but I'm loath to see the time when there's multiplayer in Train Sim World at all. And the reason why I say that is that it never goes because then what you have is people start to fuss about what role are they going to play. They don't want to be the guard. They want to drive the train. I'm driving the train. Go next time. That's what you go. It turns into one of those sort of situations. And I hate to see that happen. But that's, I think, is the unfortunate aspect of multiplayer, where you have, in some cases, clans or groups or what's the other word? Guilds, so to speak, whatever you want to call it. It can get into a very negative sort of aspect of the game. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, but I know people say, well, but I want to play with my friend. Well, there's ways to do that. Not everything has to have a multiplayer aspect to it, but some people feel that everything does, and I think, I was thinking about, like, when the older Call of Duty came out, when Modern Warfare came out, well, I want to play with my friend. And then you see this push, everything becomes all about the multiplayer. It doesn't become about the story. You had a complete game, right? There wasn't patches or updates or whatever. It was, you got your complete game, and you can change the difficulty as you saw fit. You can, you can replay it, relive the story, all that kind of stuff. And now with all this push of multiplayer, and creating groups together within the game, and all that, which is all fine and good. There is a good social aspect to that, but a lot of times I think invariably, whether people mean to or not, it becomes a very negative experience for people. You start to feel like, okay, well, what do I got to do to be part of something? I don't want to say a part of something bigger, but you spend time, you put some effort into it, and then you feel maybe, well, I guess my time isn't very well respected. So it makes you start to wonder, okay, is this the place for me? And I think that's where I'm at right now in some cases in my life. Is this the place for me? I'm not saying about the streaming or anything like that. Just some things that are going on, and you start to wonder, okay, well, I guess either I am not exuding any confidence, or not showing that I am capable, Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, God. Oh, well, let's just get the doors open. We're kind of not all the way on the platform. We stopped way short. Of course it does that to people instead of... But we're already late anyway, so... yeah, I just... Yeah, it's interesting that there's some people who they're pushing for that multiplayer aspect, and they think that it's going to give them a sense of something or other in this game. I don't know what it is. I guess, but, of course everybody thinks, oh, no, it'll be fun. And then when the argument starts, and then friendships get tested, and that's when you start to find out that things are not as swell as they might seem to be. Huddersfield. Things. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. The interesting thing is so if you bring this up, what I think at times, there's a sense of it's almost like people like to kind of be a bit dismissive in some ways. You say, hey, I feel like this way about this situation. A lot of people, they think they're trying to be empathetic. In a way, they're trying to be a bit dismissive. That's not true. No. Because it's almost like it puts them in a bad spot. Because if they take a step back and remove themselves from the situation and put themselves in their shoes, I can see where you would feel that way. Or, yeah, I get what you're saying, or whatever. They struggle to come to terms with what you're talking about. And a lot of times we don't like to do that. We prefer to have, we just want the world to be this nice, rosy sort of place. And it's not always that way. We all have our own faults, shortcomings that we try to work on every day as much as possible. Sometimes it feels kind of difficult to work on all those things because it's a lot of work and we're not getting much affirmation out of that work. I don't know. It's a very awkward place to be in. Little horn action there since we have it. So anyway, I don't mean to be a negative person. Just some things that I think about. Some decisions I think that are going to have to be made at some point for my own, I guess in a way, my own mental health. Hello, Carl. Yes, we are on the train. We flew earlier today. We've been kind of mixing things up a little bit, flying in the morning first. The train is our second stream, so we're in Class 40 on Northern Trans-Pennine. Yeah, Train Sim World 2 is been out for at least a year now. Just over a year now. Give or take. There's 27 routes total now. Yeah. So you get a little bit of everything. You get older British locomotives, you get some more modern stuff, so you get a lot of German routes, one route in France, a couple of routes in the US. Yeah, there's freight, there's passenger. So yeah, if you're looking for something to do outside of flight sim, this is certainly once you, and the good thing is there, how much you want to do. Well, you're limited, of course, to some very rudimentary sort of things, getting the locomotive in motion, switching, and stuff like that. There's not a lot to it, but once you get, and you don't have to have all the routes, but certainly. Find a few favorites and just enjoy those. So, yeah, just enjoy this little trip on the Northern Trans-Pennine here in the Class 40 BLU. Passenger cars here. This is all the first class. The second class is right there. So we got two cabins, the first class passenger area, two cars I should say, and then the rest is all second class passenger seating. And then you have like a mail newspaper car at the end. This is how it's normally set up. Yeah, I've been switching it up a little bit just to kind of mix things up. Yeah, I would agree. They have talked about, well, in the train sim, early version, I think has Steam on there already. They've been talking about bringing Steam to the consoles but there hasn't been any discussion about that lately. It was something we were talking about earlier in the year, but it's not good. I think they got sidetracked with the announcement of rush hour, which is 3 lines, supposed to be heavy passenger traffic, so like right now would be considered rush hour time, so you would typically see maybe a fuller train, more passengers at the platforms, going places, going to work, whatever the case may be. So the steam thing seems to have been put on the back burner. I could be wrong, but that's how it is. We're running kind of behind here on this route, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. We're on our way to Manchester, Victoria. Principal stations only, Manchester, right down there. As soon as we pull into our station there and drop our passengers off the street, still got about another 30, I'm going to say about 40, maybe close to 50 minutes. It says it's about an hour and 6 to do, but I don't think that that's always correct. You have a lot of ups and downs. You try to cruise. The locomotive just kind of coast, I guess. But you lose a lot of speed a lot of times. Kind of lose momentum. Very picturesque, sort of. You get some nice countryside scenery, and you have these industrial kind of areas, just like East Valley. Oh, okay. Nice, Carl. Yellow with our speed board there, which means I do believe we have a red. Yep, we'll have a red right there at the end of the platform. Goes the Class 101 service. 2 cars. When you fly, do you see? There's so on Tees Valley line, we did do a flight from the airport, I think, near there, and then we flew to Glasgow, which is part of the Glasgow Cathcart Circle line, and you can see the tracks. Now, of course, the way this is set, the era in which this is set is probably not, I don't know what would be different. I would have to find Huddersfield, for instance, and and see if this train station looks like it does here in the game. You know, or at least the buildings look, because I would imagine that where the time that this was set is not what we would see in Flight Simulator from the air. There would be, I would think there would be some changes. Yeah, I do like the old brick buildings too. Touch of the brake. We're going uphill as it is already, and look how easily it... Yeah, it's... See, and now I have to worry about, is the brakes going to stop me in time, because I don't want to run that red. So I had to, you know, we started going, but then... it can be very touchy, especially on these inclines and uphill, downhill. You know, it's very difficult sometimes to determine how the train is going to react. Sometimes the brakes work very well, and other times it feels like not so much. I'm gonna wait for the brakes to release. Control. Air braked. Try to get moving in here. Of course, we have to watch our speed coming out of Huddersfield to Stolly Bridge. It's slow going as we leave. Come through the tunnel here, this section here, and then another tunnel there, and then we should go through our second long tunnel there. Some teardrops and a cigar, getting the paper. Ah, nice. Yeah, I can see that. So that is our next stop, Stolly Bridge. Oops. Then after that, I think it should be right into Manchester. Yep. So we've got one more stop and then our final stop. We'll wrap it up for the day. Thank you all for coming in. Appreciate you all being here. Yeah, it's going to be a very challenging route. I think this is the route that had the heavy freight pack that came with it. And of course, some of the trains are a bit underpowered, or they're powered correctly, but it just takes a while to get going when you're hauling freight on you. Hey, hello Mick, you made it again. Rail ham and cheese. It does have that ambience. Yeah, it's got a nice... That's the one good thing about... I will give props to the games, is that they do create an atmosphere for folks who, you know, if you rode these rail lines or grew up around this area or had family members who worked for these rail companies or whatever, you do kind of feel a connection, and I do think that's yeah, it has a really good ambience, I think. Well, nice to see you here, Mick. got a few more stop. Well, we got one more stop release, Dolly Bridge, and then the advantages that we can bring out. So, yeah. It does appear that I picked up a few new subscribers. We're at 70 subscribers now. We appreciate that. I haven't got the notifications to who my new subscribers are. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Growing a little bit. Not too worried about it too much. Interior of our class 4, very kind of sparse. I do kind of think we are slightly overdressed for our operating levels. It seems a bit much, but I'm guessing that's how it was. Love the flight to the valley earlier. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to prove that yes, you can fly under the most gets a kick out of that. I think Sue watched it, but below replay. Comment, I guess. That was a lot of fun. It was nice, kind of relaxing. Although it was relaxing at first, but when that valley kind of narrowed up very quickly. it wasn't much to relax in. So no SpaceX spaces for this one. Not tracking. Unless there's a flight coming up, I don't know. I haven't really. I can't say for sure what's going on with the suit selection. Maybe they felt more comfortable in the other suits. I've been a bit remiss in my keeping up with what's going on with SpaceX and their launches and whatnot. So, have you not heard? Yeah, I've heard of SpaceX, Carl. Yeah, that's not the problem. I don't know what you said something about the suit selection or spacesuits for the crew. I don't know. I've not heard. I haven't. Been on YouTube a little bit earlier in the extreme, but I don't know really what's going on about the selection of the spacesuits for this upcoming flight. So, you said that's really cool. So I'm maybe a bit behind in the news this morning, so I don't really know what's happening with that whole situation. That's what I mean. But I have heard of SpaceX. I have watched their launches. And all that. I did visit Kennedy Space Center when SpaceX was in the early stages of basically fitting the launch pads for. Oh, okay. No, you can't do that. There's no the whatever whatever people operate the train or little avatars, whatever you call them. That's what this, I guess, what I understand. That's historically what they would be wearing is this outfit. The kind of a gray pants and jacket, sports coat or whatever, and then a collared shirt. So I think that's the standard uniform. Although, this locomotive seems pretty, like, kind of dirty, so, I mean, it's, I guess it's a bit of professionalism, but, your suit, your work suit, I guess, would probably be a bit much for them to operate. You might have to have. Well, I'm guessing you would have like maybe you got a hot air balloon right there. That's one of the layers you can get on the route. Sometimes they will fly. Actually, you see them in the sky so often. But yeah, no, you don't get to change the anything sort of. You don't get to change the look or whatever. There's no options to have alternate attire for the train operator, either the second operator or whatever. You're kind of stuck with what you get. But I think that's based on what they feel is the most accurate representation of what the actual employees wore when they operated the trains. Those spaces. I guess, I don't know. I mean, you can pick, but the funny thing is that depending on the route, you get some different characters, so you don't get a stock one unless you're running around collecting, collectibles. Yeah, I guess you could say box. I don't know. Yeah. I always comment on the sharpness of dress, which always, it's a bit impressive, but I wouldn't think it would be very comfortable to wear something like that, operating this locomotive. I think maybe some sort of, what do you call it, overalls or something would be more practical. And not all train, not all of them, all the routes have like a second operator over the other chair. Sometimes you're running by yourself, basically. But anyways, yeah, that's what. Yeah, no, you don't get any choice in the selection of attire. What you see is what you get. Yeah, I will say that I think they try to get as much accuracy as possible when they do these things to try to make the driver look as close as possible to what the expectation would be for for what they would wear. They have like a certain kind of uniform. I think they try to get it as close as possible and make it look pretty accurate. Alright, still on our way to Stolly Bridge. We'll be way late getting into Stolly Bridge. I think as we come through the tunnel here, when we start, we're gonna start coasting downhill fairly significantly. It's been a while since I've been on this one. Tomorrow we will go back to starting with our trains in the morning. And we will do how's about yeah, I mean, it's not without its problems. It's got a few issues here and there, but they are working on things, improving the overall quality of the game. But overall, I think it's pretty darn good. It's not perfect. It's got its issues. PC version. They've got a PC version. You can get it on the consoles. There is a newer version called Train Sim that's coming out. It's Train Sim 2022 that they've been previewing some of the routes for that. Ooh, I'm excessively speedy because I wasn't on the bridge. Go right back up to 60, of course. I never quite understood why it does that. That's okay. Slow down. That should be speed back. Once the brakes release. So yeah, if you're looking for something else to play on the PC, I'd highly recommend looking into TS2022. But if you're looking for the console, you know, Train Sim World 2 is pretty good. You can get, I think, there's an edition out that you get the 3 routes. You get Bakerloo Line, Sandpatch Grade, and what's the other one? Sandpatch Grade. Oh, Schnallfaststrecke Kolndaaken. When I trained with my brother for a joke, we did countdown from the 2. As we count down 3, 2, 1, 2, it was perfect. Nice. So yeah, you get 3 main routes with the game, and then if you get like the deluxe edition, that's probably fairly cheap right now. You would get you can get a couple additional routes. Those days you can spell too. That's all right. So yeah, if you're looking for just something a different experience, I highly recommend it. You don't have to own all the routes. This is what they call a preserved collected route. This was in Train Sim World 2020. There was a different Train Sim World, and then they came out with Train Sim World 2. So this is the newest version. It seems like they're going to stick with this for some time until they develop the next console version. So, yeah, lots to do here. Never a dull moment. There's always something. for flying, we're going to go from Naples. We're going to continue our flight down because we were in a cabin and somebody came on board who was staying. We went into a long time ago. I thought I was okay. Yeah, we're going to fly from Naples. We're going to continue our flight down to the southern part of Italy. We're going to try to go towards the tip of the boot, I guess, or make our way that way. And we're going to come back. Eventually, we're going to come back around and go up the other coast, the other side of Italy. Yeah, so that's what I'm for sure. Stay with the eye. After I wrap this up, I pop back into Flight Sim and kind of plan out tomorrow's flight so that I have it written down so I don't forget our starting point, our destination, and all the other pertinent sort of stuff. Not yet, Carl. That's what I'm going to work on after we're done here. Go back in. Not on stream. Because I'd like to be able to have the attention of looking at my plan and trying to figure out the best route and that sort of stuff without having to look at the chat. So, yeah, tomorrow. But it should be a nice flight. That I can assure you. Some nice scenery. Oh no! I'm not on a. No, I don't. That's. No, just. We'll watch the stream. I'm not. Mick and I are in discussion sometimes about doing a multiplayer, but that's between him and I. We're working out those bugs, but no, I'm not looking for additional flyers in my stream. No offense, Carl. Yeah, I'm enjoying. Part of it is I just like it to be entertaining without. That's Dick and I are in discussion about doing microsim multiplayer flight ourselves. So, yeah. Yeah, eventually. Part of it is I know Mick and I have been watching the streams. We've been talking together over the past year, so I feel a little bit more comfortable with him, Carl. No offense, it's so. We developed a bit of that trust between us. So. No, I do appreciate the thought. I'm not trying to be ungrateful or anything. For me, I prefer, if I'm going to do that, I prefer that I fly or do those things with somebody that I trust. Yeah, it is fun. I do enjoy it. For me, it's a very personal experience because I grew up loving aviation, so I like to enjoy that You know, I know there's a lot of people on Twitch who do those like community flights and all that, and I think they have like the capabilities and they know how to put all that together. But part of that too, I think, still is it's a level of trust that the people who are going to come in, A, kind of know what they're doing, and B, they're not going to do things that is going to cause a ruckus in the stream as well. And you know, I know in the forums they've talked about, you know, they try to plan community flights, especially for people who are new to the game, trying to get some community involvement, that sort of thing. Help the new players kind of grow in the game, I guess. Yeah, I just try to make it entertaining, informative, fun, whatever. But as I get better, and everything, and of course part of that's going to be getting a flight stick and throttle, rudders, then I would feel more, you know, that's the next step. But in the meantime, Nick and I we've given it a shot. We've run into a few technical issues, but eventually we're going to get those all ironed out, and we're going to do a flight. So, one thing at a time. There's, you know, I'm 20 hours away from 100 hours. Next will be 500 hours and 1,000. So there's still lots to do. Lots of places we haven't flown yet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can't either because I'm on a console. That's the thing. I would probably need a keyboard, flight stick, throttle, rudders, mouse. You know. Yeah, but I agree with you, Nick. Yeah, you let people in, and it gets a little out of control, because it's more, to me sometimes it's more about that people feel like they oh, I was in a stream with somebody, look at me. It's not that they're, you know, capable of anything. They just do it because, oh, look at me, I was famous for a couple minutes, I was in somebody's stream on YouTube. You know, that's all they're looking for, is that attention. The engine. I see something right there. Oh, there's the faint light of the. There we are. I found the old Cecil has some of the old autopilot functionality that was used with the earlier version. I don't know. I did kind of graduate. I started with the 152 and I graduated with the 172, and it just seemed to, it worked out pretty well overall. But then I moved to the Beechcraft 350i and haven't, you know, well, other than today I was in the 152. I get the 152 going only when we're doing a VFR flight, because it's low and slow, and I feel like I can kind of control it. And I think even the 172 I can do okay with a VFR flight. if you get down to it. So, alright, we're finally arriving in Stolly Bridge. 13 minutes late. Sorry, I had to sneeze real quick. I think that sneeze has been building up for some time. Yeah. Got one more stop to make and then we'll be wrapping this thing up. Yeah, and I don't mind that part. I try to find something that I know works for me, and I stick with it for a while until I feel that I'm ready to move on to something else. You know, just like in Train Sim World 2, you know, it's easy. There's a lot of locomotives to learn, a lot of routes to learn, and there's so much that it's easy to forget some things. So, no, it's all good. Certainly, and part of that, part of my continued love of Train Sim World 2 is due to a couple people. One is Joe, British Ace. I started watching his videos. Richard Train Spotter, watched his videos, and so yeah, it became a bit of, well, if they can do this, I can do this. But you know, like most anything else, play the game how you want to play it. That's something that a lot of people seem to have forgotten over the past year. Some people come in and start making demands about horn codes and whatnot. Alright, so we are completely on the platform. Good. So, yeah, just... you know, like, today when I flew under the Eiffel Tower, I am positive we would have gotten in trouble in real life if we had done that. I'm sure that's a big no-no, but it was fun doing it. So. Yeah, the Caravan is a good plane as well. I think I've flown in that a few times. We may go back to that one at some point. So, yeah. But I like the 350i. It's kind of fast and speed. Just enjoy flying that for right now. Alright, Manchester Victoria is next. We are already late. We were supposed to be there already. That's okay. We'll just enjoy the scenery on the way to Manchester, Victoria. Looking forward to the Twin Otter. There's some references you make, Carl, that I may not get right away. I don't know if it's, if you're talking a location near where you live, or I'm not 100% certain. I don't know quite how to respond to that. little 0.3% downhill isn't getting it going any quicker. The Otter is a high wing. I guess medium. I'm guessing that's what you turn one of the planes. I don't know. If you're on the PC, of course, don't forget that I don't. What we see as far as what planes are available is not the same as what you guys have on the PC. So that's what perplexes me sometimes. Is if you mention a plane that is in the PC version of the game, I won't know what you're talking about because they haven't brought everything over just yet to the Xbox marketplace. I think eventually they're working on that a little bit at a time. So I mean, if you say twin, I'm of course assuming it means it's a twin-engine plane. But I don't know what the plane is itself, unless that's the nickname you gave it. That's what kind of threw me for a loop there. I guess this should go for anybody. If you're making references to something, now, remember I'm from America, so sometimes, I mean, I get most cultural references from the UK and other parts of Europe, but, other places of the world, but sometimes I don't. So if you're not 100% sure, just go ahead and explain it. Like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. Nope, never heard of it. This makes it easier for everyone. Alright, we are casually coasting to Manchester. I mean, we are 6 minutes late already. We're going to be probably almost 20 minutes in by the time we get there. Probably going to get a silver medal out of this. That's okay. I'll be surprised if we get gold. But hey, we flew under the Eiffel Tower, so it doesn't matter. I figured with this being, it's not like a super long route. This is a bit slow going because you have some uphill, downhill sort of action. I figured if I got started a little bit earlier, give us time to get it completed. I've got time to do other things today that I need to get done. I do appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. Yep, I will see you later on today as well. Looking forward to it. I butchered enough names of the ETS. No, that's okay. And that's I don't mind trying to correct because those are areas that you guys have never, you don't know the correct pronunciation. Just like there's plenty of places I go through that I don't know the correct pronunciation. Who was the one that's Bex was correcting me on when I was flying over there in the UK. Norwich. That's what it was. Norwich. It wasn't Norwich. It's Norwich. It's like you guys say aluminium. We say aluminum. I kind of think it's kind of the aluminium is probably the more correct, but it seems. Try to get it correct. If somebody says, "Oh no, it's supposed to be like this," hey, okay, I didn't know. Just like you guys want to chart out Cheyenne. Even though technically it's probably one of the more well-known cities in Oklahoma, but it's not well-known. Yeah, it should be a good time to if you try the names, it's funny when I'm nowhere near it. It's really, yeah. I mean, when Bex was telling me it's Norwich, not Norwich. I wasn't far off, I guess. It's like, in Train Symbol 2, I see some of the town names. I think, oh, it's supposed to be this. And I'm, like Gillingham. I thought it was Gillingham. Because that's what it looks like it's pronounced wise. It's Gillingham. And then Josh was like, no, it's Gillingham. I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't sure. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all part of the learning process. There's certainly names when I see, when I'm flying, I'm just like, where did they come up with this? Who thought of that? Alright, we are almost at Manchester, Victoria. We're just kind of coasting here. But yeah, usually, like, if somebody says something in the chat that I'm just like, I don't know what is that in reference to, I don't mind saying it, because, hey, if you got a larger context that maybe I'm not picking up on, by all means, try to explain it to me, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I smell what you're stepping in. as the saying goes. Anyways, enough about me. As I always like to say, enough about me. Tell me what your favorite color is. You haven't told me what your favorite color is. Everybody put their favorite color in the chat. If you're still here, put your favorite color in the chat. We'll see what kind of responses we get. If it. I like that saying. That was good. What? I smell what you're stepping in? Enough about me. Tell me about yourself. There's a couple of good ones there, I think. The other one is, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Let's know what you're stuck in. I don't know if I was in the military then or... I can't remember. Blue-green. Oh, nice. Very good. At least we got one answer. We had a few more folks in the chat. It'd be kind of interesting, but that's okay. This is usually the tricky part coming into Manchester, Victoria. Because it's going to start going downhill fairly significant once we get past, and you can see already once we get past that green signal, I think is when it really starts to pick up. Use this little signal bridge or whatever this is. That's when things start to get really it's like it feels like managing a descent into an airplane. The plane wants to go speeding because we're going down, or nose down. We have 15 mile an hour, and then we have I think past that 15, just on the other side of it is a 10 mile. It used to be this route in the early days of transport was quite problematic. You would get to around about here, and then the game would crash. Couldn't complete service. I think they've got that all ironed out now, hopefully. Boy, we're way faster than 15 at this point. We're going to be almost 20 minutes late by the time we get there. That's okay. I wonder if that's really how it was in real life, too. But the timetable was just not very... It wasn't very reasonable based on... Well, maybe they were pretty close, because, if you've been... Phillips. Shot. Something for shoots. Two support things. Speeding again. Oops, Daisy. 2:15 and 10. course, the tricky part is you slow down so much that it's easy to lose your momentum going into the station here. It's a good combination. I like that. Both those are good colors. I like forest green. It's really forest green theory. Mint. I like mint green. Green color. Of course, we stopped here, which is not what I intended. Now we have to wait for the brakes to release. I don't mind being late on a route that I haven't been on a little while. It's okay. Well, it's certainly been fun. An eventful morning. Vic, what time are you going to be on ATS tonight? I think you said it's like 7 or 8 your time. If you're still there. This is I think you have to be right on the marker to get this to complete. I think we got enough oomph to go up that little bit of a percentage there. 7 or 8 our time. Okay, perfect. 2 or 3 my time. Alright, well, it gave it to us anyway. We didn't even come to a complete... Well, we kind of did come to a stop, I guess. But anyway. Alright, I definitely will be there. Get your snacks ready and drink and get comfy. Yep, I certainly will. I'm going to try the 747 again, but I think I'm just going to try to chill and enjoy your stream instead. Yep, we got a silver. Look at that. We're happy with that silver too, because that's what we did silver work. That's what we got. So anyway, that's going to be it for today, folks. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out. Certainly appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow on Train Sim World 2. I don't know. I guess it'll be a surprise, won't it? Anyway, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you all later. Peace.